What's up, everybody? If you're dating in your 20s, this message is for you today. Listen up, listen up, listen up. If you're dating in your 20s, this is for you. So I was talking to a young lady yesterday. We got into a good conversation, and she is dating in her 20s. I gave her some advice, and I thought, you know what? There's more people who need to hear what I told her. More people in their 20s need to hear what I told her. Okay. So this young lady, she's dating in her 20s. She's out of high school. She's getting into her career. I want to say she works at the hospital. She's a hospital worker, and she puts her time in and she says, Kel, help me. I'm having a hard time out here dating. None of these men are serious. What do I do with these guys? These guys, they're not serious. All they want to do is play. All they want to do is cheat. All they want to do is just play around, and they're not serious. They're seriously not serious. What do you think I should do at 20 years old? And I looked at her. I was like, ma'am, you're 20 years old. You're just really getting started. And I'm telling you, you got a long life to go. So I said, tell me a little bit more about the guys that you date and the things that you go through. She said, I was seeing this guy. She said, I've basically been seeing this one guy on and off for about 6 years. And I'm like, 6 years, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. You've been seeing a guy since you were 14 years old? I'm like, okay. So she says, I've been seeing this guy on and off for about 6 years, but he likes to cheat. He likes to be out with other girls. And I don't like the fact that he likes to be out with other girls. So I'm like, okay. And so I said, so what are you looking for? She said, I'm looking for a man who's going to, just be there. He's going to just stay with me. He's not going to want to cheat. He's not going to want to be out with other women. I said, ma'am, you're 20 years old. You should be out with other boys and having other kinds of relationships. And so when she finished telling me that, she said, all right, well, what advice do you have? So this is the advice I gave her. I said, listen, girl, you need to be dating all kinds of men, right? She said, I'm into men, a little bit into women. I was like, okay. She said, a little bit into women. All right. I said, you need to be tasting all the kinds of men that you want to taste, right? I looked at it. I said, you're pretty tall. Have you ever dated a short boy, a short guy? Have you ever dated a guy that was maybe your height? Because height is something special for these girls. Have you ever dated a man who was, older than you? Have you ever dated a man who maybe didn't have as much? A man who's got more? Like all of these different kinds of men. This is what I told her. And if you're 20 years old, this message is for you too. If you're in your 20s, this is for you too. You should not be getting settled down with anybody. I told her, look, you shouldn't even be having this conversation about boys cheating and not being all the way with you. And if he's 20 years old, he shouldn't be in a committed relationship at 20 years old. He should be tasting. He should be experiencing his life. So I asked her, I said, well, have you ever lived anywhere else? She said, no, I've always only lived here in Atlanta, and I'm tired of living in Atlanta. I said, look, to you, Atlanta is a tired, rundown town. But for most of us who moved here, we know this is the pot of gold, right? I said, the best thing you need to do is focus on getting educated. And what I said, now, you might think that means college, but I said getting educated about the world and about your life. I said, you need to get educated about your life. What is your life about? I told her one of the things you need to do is get out of Georgia. Because you think that the whole rest of the world is like Georgia, and it is absolutely not. There is no place on earth like Atlanta, right? But if you're born and raised here, you just think, this is nothing. Get out of here and come back, and you'll see that most of the world is not like this. And I told her, I said, you need to be getting into discovering who you are, discovering your purpose. Here's what I asked her, y'all. I said, well, why did you come to the earth? What did you come to earth for? What was your reason for being born? If you can't answer that question, you getting with another person and starting this dating stuff, you're doing the wrong thing. You need to be getting down to understanding the whole reason you came to earth. Why are you? Why were you not born a tree? How come you wasn't born a bush? What were you here for? What is your purpose for being? And she started looking at me. She was like, wow, I never really thought of it like that. I said, yes, listen, you can't find anybody else until you find yourself. You can't become more to anybody else until you become more to yourself. You can't be the best until you're the best person for you. So take this time and look on the map. Throw a dart on the map of the United States of America and decide that you're going to move there and live there for 2 or 3 years. And throw another dart and plan to live someplace else. And I told her, look, in your 20s, it's time for tasting. It's time for tasting in relationships. It's time for tasting in geography. It's time for tasting and understanding yourself on a level so that you know who to invite into your life, so that you don't just fall back. And I said, look, this boy that you were seeing for 6 years, listen to me carefully. Just because you were seeing somebody for 6 years doesn't mean you should keep seeing them for another 6 years. It doesn't mean that this is your soulmate. So many people get caught with this. Just because they were in your past, that doesn't mean that they should be in your future. Just because they were a part of your past, that was your past. That doesn't mean that they should be in your future. They have to earn a spot in your future. But for before you bring somebody into your future, you got to create it for yourself. If you're 20 years old, start creating your future for yourself. Ask yourself, what do I want? When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself every morning, what do I want? What is in this life for me? How long am I going to be here? Because some of y'all haven't found your life because you're living in the wrong place. So look, some of y'all need to get out of these little small towns and go find your life and find your experiences outside of here, because it's not here. It's not where you are. Some of your greatest opportunities are out there. And if you're too scared to go, you'll never have it. You'll never experience it. So I told that young girl, 20 years old, I said, you are at the peak of your femininity. Invest in that. Discover what that means. What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be female? What does it mean to be out here in this world? What does it mean? Who are you? I said, when you investigate all those things, then you'll begin to know just who you are and what you're here to do. So, all right, you guys, I hope you guys have a great day. I just wanted to pop on and have a quick conversation with you today. You guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Peace.